These are some old beams out of a 1800s grist mill. You can see the mortise and tenon joinery right here. You can see how this beam is cut on an angle. That is so the bottom of the beam will have a good rest and bearing surface on the main support post. You can see how the floor joists were notched into the beam, and they were also pegged in. Those notches, some of them are dovetailed. These are some of the standard supports that go crosswise. This is a mortise for a mortise and tenon joint. The other piece of wood has a square tenon like this rectangle, and it slides into the hole. You can even see the old pencil marks on this beam from the 1800s. Look at that. One on the left and one right there on the right. That is amazing. This is another one of the big beams. It's really a monster. It's hard to tell by the pictures, but it is a monster beam. Same thing, it has a tapered end on it so that it's got I think it's like 1.5 inch, maybe 2 inch bearing on the post that it sets on that bottom longest side down there on the opposite from where we're looking here. You see how the edges of the tenon are cut off so that it slides into the mortise easier. Sorry about the shadows there. The sun is sneaking up on me. Mortise and tenon joinery, I've done a lot of it on smaller things, but this is some of the biggest that I've worked with in one spot. This is one of the old pegs from 1800s. Say you can't put a square peg in a round hole, but you do. You put a square peg in a round hole with the corners shaved off, and this one is rectangle shaped, and the reason for that is you put the more narrow side running against the grain so that when you drive the peg in, it does not split the timber with the grain. So it's a rectangle shape. The pressure goes horizontally with the beam. Now, this is my old draw horse that I use for making pegs. It's got a foot pedal down, and it just rocks back and binds whatever you're working on here. Just binds it, and then you use one of the tools you use is a drawing knife, and you just cut down on the piece, and you can flip it over to the side you want, but it makes it real easy to cut and make pegs, cut them out, taper all the sides exactly how you want them. It's really a handy thing, and this is a very old tool. This one's not old. I built it several years ago, but it's an old idea that's been around for a long time. These bolts came out of somebody's wood pile. You just get some good dry, if you can, wood, split out your peg bolts, and as straight as you can, as near as you can to the size that you need. And that makes it easier on the final shaping and dressing down. Now, this is a gauge block that I made. It's got 2 gauges. It's got the hole size you're going to be using, and it's also got a notch that you can fit the peg in. See, it'll go one way, but not the other, and that's what I was telling you. You want to put the narrow way in up and down if your beam is laying horizontal, so that the widest side of the peg pushes against end grain and not side grain. If you put it against side grain, it will split out. But this gauge block works really good. You can, when you taper the ends, you can try it in the hole, and then you can check the whole length of the peg and the notch to make sure that you're not too big, and make sure you don't get it took down too little. It's a handy way. I don't know. I guess everybody's got a different way. This is my idea on how to do it. I don't know. I've never seen another gauge block like this. But it works real good for shaping pegs, making sure you don't get them undersized or oversized. It's really important not to, well, it's really important not to get them undersized or oversized, because if you do, you're going to have problems either way. Oversized is going to split your beam. Undersized not going to tighten up and hold tightly. But you can see how this draw horse works. Just a pedal. I put a bungee on it to pull it back. When you let off the pedal, it'll pull back and you can move your workpiece. This is the beams for the top of a post and beam porch on the front of this grist mill. And this is just a square tenon. And the beams will be mortised to set down on top of these tenons. And then it will all be pegged together with these pegs I'm making. Here's Jace working on one of the mortises in the post, and these are for the braces that are the brace supports in the upper corners. That's a real tedious process cutting those. It has to be accurate or you'll have problems. And when you got a big beam up in the air, it's hard to do anything with it when you're trying to put it together if everything don't go together smoothly. This is the braces. These tenons will go in the hole on the post and a hole on the upper beam, and it'll just be an angle brace, and they'll also get pegged in. These have not been cut yet. These are roughed out, but the tapered ends, the tenon ends, have not been cut on those yet. This is the old ways. The old draw horse makes things so easy when you're working on pegs, handles, anything like that.